Hi, I'm Anthony Burch, lead writer of Borderlands 2, and you're watching Platform32.
Howdy, minions! As promised, I recently went to Gamescom and snagged an exclusive Borderlands 2 interview in which I posed as many of your questions as time would allow to the game's lead writer, Anthony Burch. Plus, there's about 4 minutes worth of fresh multiplayer gameplay for you to feast your Pandora-starved eyes on. I spoil you guys, I really do. First up, from YouTube user Vault Destroyer, please try and get some more information on the Mechromancer class. It looks sick!
The Mechromancer is a downloadable character that if you pre-order and you're in the Borderlands 2 Premiere Club, then you get her for free once we're done with her. And she basically has a bunch of really cool stuff about her. She's got an action skill that's called a Summon Death Trap, where she just has this big-ass robot that comes out and just beats the crap out of stuff alongside you. She's got a tree that we're calling Best Friends Forever that has a skill that's really interesting called Close Enough. And it's actually interesting both for hardcore players and for newcomers to FPSs or people who maybe aren't the best at aiming in FPSs, because when you have Close Enough, any shot you miss actually will ricochet off the environment and hit an enemy and do a little bit of reduced damage, but it'll still hit the enemy. So if you're playing with somebody who's maybe not the best at aiming, but they still want to help out, then you want to invest in Close Enough. Or if you're a hardcore player and you just hate it when enemies get behind cover, Close Enough is a really awesome way to flush enemies out of cover. And we had a lot of, a lot of people email us every day and say, like, we really like your game because it's a fun shooter, and it's not as fast paced as a lot of other shooters are, where you have to just have amazing twitch skills. So we wanted to give a cool character skills to that group of people. That said, the Mechromancer's also got a really hardcore character skill tree called Ordered Chaos that we're not talking a lot about in detail, but she does have a super hardcore, super high risk, high reward sort of skill tree to her that we'll be talking more about in the future.
Yeah, I like the way with that ricochet ability. You can kind of, even with like inaccurate weapons like a shotgun that bullets everywhere, you still do have a chance of just hitting, even if you're just randomly firing.
Yeah, it's really satisfying to like hit a guy with a shotgun and almost all your pellets hit except for like 2 missed, and then you see bullet damage numbers come off some guy to the left, like, oh, I didn't even know you were there, great, I got 2 for the price of 1.
Next up, in a break from killing moons, Lunar Assassin 1 asked, in the interview, can you ask what the level cap is?
The level cap is 50 for the launch title. We may increase it later, I don't know, but it's going to be 50 initially.
Blazed Zulu 89 must have loads of friends, because he said, okay, so I heard there's a 5th usable member coming to the already 4 in the first DLC pack. Does this mean there will be an update so we can have a 5-player co-op? Sort of like Gears did with Horde?
No, there's no plan for that, unfortunately.
Joe Fresh 105, he's oh so fresh, asked, you should ask Gearbox, will ammo regeneration be returning?
Yeah, there are definitely some skills that regenerate ammo. I believe there might be class mods, I'm not certain. But if you're playing as Gunzerker, every time you Gunzerk, he regenerates a lot of ammo, so that's really cool.
Rucksack fan Swainus asked, how much backpack space will you have now? Will it be more because there is so much more weapons now?
I believe there is more. The maximum amount of backpack space you have, I believe, is even bigger than in Borderlands 1. And if it isn't, that's probably because we also have a bank where you can store a bunch more guns just anytime you don't have room in your backpack, but you don't want to sell it or anything like that. The way our backpack works now is that you buy, and the bank actually, is that you spend this new currency called ridium, which is really rare and valuable. You spend that to increase the size of your backpack, increase the amount of ammo you can carry for particular weapons, or increase the size of your bank.
While YNS Gaming wanted to know, is there going to be a bank in game where you can store guns and not buy as DLC?
It will be available out of the box. Once you get to a certain mission in the game, once you reach the city of Sanctuary, you will have full access to the bank.
Baker Fresh is curious to know more of that iridium changing guns. Is it just to better guns?
E-Tech weapons are basically made using this iridium technology that sort of appeared after you opened the vault in the first game. And they take existing types of guns and then turn them into something completely different. So like a sniper rifle turns into a railgun, a rocket launcher turns into a BFG, an SMG turns into like a little sort of plasma shooter thingy. Assault rifles become blaster rifles, which is really neat. And shotguns become this like sort of like chemical spewer thing that's really cool. Yeah, they tend to have a lot of elemental damage effects applied to them. They're just much more visually spectacular. The gun will look different and have these weird alien fins on it and stuff. It's really something to find one.
And Mr. Arthas96 simply wants to know, Are vehicles customizable?
Just like with the characters and the customization they'll have, you'll be able to change the skins of the vehicles. You can get skins by completing challenges, or they'll drop from certain enemies or bosses. Yeah, there's a whole lot of skins in the game, like a ridiculous amount.
Oh, cool. So in this game, instead of just like weapons and stuff being dropped, you get skins. And
Yeah. You will be able to run certain bosses to get certain skins if you like. There will be skins that come out of loot piles. You know that we have. The skins are actually just their loot, so they have a rarity system just like anything else. So you know you'll have very rare skins you'll find and stuff like that. And there's a whole bunch of them for your car, your character, different heads for your character. It's pretty cool.
Loot lover number 1 Fanito asks, how will loot be generated, and how is it different from Borderlands 2?
No, we use the same basic loot generation system. We just have a bunch of different more parts that make it up. Essentially, we increase the number of guns, we increase the number of parts that can work with that. The way the manufacturers work is now different, so we had to make sure that those things could play well together. Make sure we didn't have a gun that like didn't make any sense. But actually, there are a lot of guns that don't make sense, but in a good way, so I take that back.
But that wasn't enough info for the greedy so-and-so, because number 1 Finito also wanted to know, will there be pearlescent weapons or extremely rare guns, strokes, shields, or grenades?
Pearlescent is not currently going to be in the game. We might, who knows, one day, I don't know, but there are no current. We haven't talked about it really in any detail, but there are definitely going to be, there are a buttload of legendary weapons in this game. Super rare, super quirky, and really, really powerful.
Hi, if you get the chance, could you ask, do they have lots of DLC planned like the original, as they were very good and added lots of hours of fun? Is the question from the very polite Locust King 1995.
We're talking a lot about that. It sort of depends on what the community is interested in. Because, we've got our raid boss, Terramorphous the Invincible, who's super difficult and really cool. If the community really likes raid bosses, maybe we'll do more of those. If they really like the Mechromancer, we'll maybe do more downloadable characters. More campaign stuff might be, but we're always talking about that stuff. Joe
Jack, the man with 2 first names, would like to know, what are the new types of grenade mods that have been added?
This is a nice subject of discussion for me because I love the grenades in Borderlands 2. Like, I didn't use them that much in Borderlands 1. Like, you had transfusion, that was kind of the only one you needed. I'm currently thinking about maybe, because I've beaten the game like 10 times almost, like 9, basically, with all the characters. And I'm thinking about trying to do a grenade-only playthrough because they're really super cool. Like, you can find a grenade that will home in on a target, stick to them, then explode into 5 smaller grenades that then cover him in acid. Like, I've had insane crap happen with grenades that are just amazing. Like, you have Tesla grenades where anybody walks in just immediately gets electrocuted and stuff. We have, Bouncing Betty transfusion grenades. Basically, grenades are now generated in such a way that the guns are. So, the guns you can get, like, Jacob's barrel and a Vladoff stock and all this other kind of crazy crap. Now, the grenades can borrow a bunch of things. I'll take this elemental thing and it'll also be a Bouncing Betty, and this one will be a black hole grenade that'll suck enemies in, and then it'll burst fire outwards. So if they're susceptible to fire, they'll just all get really close and then just set on fire spontaneously. Like, they're super, super cool. Every time I find a new grenade, I'm jazzed.
While Hairy Squirrel Balls wants to know the answer to a question which has been answered so many times before. Is there going to be some sort of demo that you can play so you can get a feel of the game?
There are no plans for a demo.
They'd better stop people from hacking and modding weapons and other bullshit ruining the game, says Malco Moon. The modding complaint came up a lot in the comments to my last video, so it looks like this one could do with answering.
Yeah, I don't know how in-depth I can go, but we're definitely taking some steps to try and reduce the number of cheating bastards.
And finally, Senior Higgers, who sounds like he would be very handsome and have a very sexy voice, which is not annoying at all, asks, will you make Claptrap playable, or at the very least, skinnable?
No comment.
Okay.
No comment, eh? The silence on that one question really does make me very curious as to what Gearbox could be planning with everyone's favourite general purpose robot. Thanks to Anthony Burch for taking the time to speak to me. The awesome characters and hilarious scripts for the game come straight out of this guy's brain holes, and interestingly enough, it's Anthony's sister Ashley who voices the immature explosives lover Tiny Tina, who we saw in last month's gameplay video and trailer. Thanks to everyone else for your questions. Sorry if I couldn't ask yours in time, I only had a 10-minute slot. But fear not, as the game is out in under a month, so very soon you guys will be roaming Pandora's wastelands and finding out everything you wanted to know all by yourselves. Ah, aren't you clever? Oh, and don't forget to subscribe for tons more exclusive Gamescom interviews coming soon.